Hello, everyone. My name is Nate, and today I'm going to explain the two related concepts in motor learning, which are transfer of learning and how demonstrations are and verbal instructions influence skill performance. Transfer of learning refers to how previous experience affects the learning or performance of a new skill or a skill in a new context. In simple terms, what you already know can either help you, hurt you, or have no effect when learning something new. There are three types of transfers, which being a positive transfer, a negative transfer, and a zero transfer. So, positive transfer occurs when prior experience improves performance in a new skill that you do physically. For example, learning to throw a baseball can help someone learn to throw a football because some of the movement, timing, and coordination are similar when when throwing each object. Negative transfer occurs when prior experience interferes with learning and or with learning a new skill. This is usually rare and temporary and often happens early in learning when similar environments require different movement patterns. Zero transfer means previous experience has no effect at all. So this means that transfer is important because it helps coaches and instructors design skill progression and evaluate how effective practice really is. It also explains how learners can develop learning how to learn new strategies where they apply general problem solving skills across different tasks. Now, transfer of learning is closely connected to how we teach and communicate skills, especially through demonstrations and verbal instructions. A demonstration, also called modeling or observational learning, is when a learner watches someone perform a skill. Research shows that observers don't simply copy everything they see. Instead, they primarily pick up invariant relative motion information, which means how the body segments are coordinated with each other in each movement. This is especially important when learning a new skill and it requires a new pattern for each coordination when it is learning. The effectiveness of a demonstration also depends on the skill being learned. If the skill requires a new coordination pattern, demonstration is especially useful because it provides a visual module of how the movement should be organized. Neuroscience research, including studies on mirror neurons and fMRI activity in areas like the supplementary motor area, also shows that observing movement activates parts of the brain involved in planning and controlling movement. Interestingly, learners can also benefit from observing other beginners. Watching novices can encourage problem solving and prevent blind imitation of expert performance, which helps learners actively engage in figuring out the movement. However, demonstrations are not always perfect. This is not always one ideal way to perform a skill, and watching experts can sometimes create an illusion that the skills has been mastered when it actually hasn't been fully learned yet. Alongside demonstration, verbal instructions and cues are another important tool. Because attention capacity is limited, effective instructions need to be simple and focused. Research shows that instructions are most effective when they direct attention to movement outcomes rather than specific body movements, which is known as promoting an external focus of attention. Verbal analogies all are also helpful because they simplify complex movements and can encourage more automatic learning. For example, saying swing like a pendulum is often more effective than giving detailed joint instructions. However, verbal instructions may be used carefully. Too many cues can overload the learner, and certain phrases can even create ironic effects, where trying not to make an error actually increases the change of making it. Finally, verbal cues should be shorter, clear and direct attention to key environmental information or important movement components. Overall, both transfer of learning and instructional strategies like demonstration and verbal cues show that skill learning is not just about reputation, but about how information is structured, perceived, and implied across different contexts.